Hi, good morning everyone on YouTube, my YouTube family. Thank you for joining me. All the new members, thank you for joining, not just subscribers, but the members. Thank you for subscribing and joining. Welcome aboard. I'm gonna have my first member live on Friday. I believe I put 6 p.m. So just in case you have to work, you have time to settle in, or you could just turn on your phone and I'll know you're there. So we're gonna do a little chat about what you like to see, about a new direction that I'm going in. So it's gonna be really, really exciting. But for today, we're going to do a little work in the garden video. I was gonna do a nursery visit, but it's not gonna be possible today. So we're gonna do a let's work in the garden. We have a couple things to do. And so lately, what I've been seeing is after the rainy season has started, I have sprayed with fungicide, and I've been seeing a couple of plants suffer from what is it called? It's not new leaf dieback, or is it called new leaf dieback? There's a new sheath, and the new sheath is turns black really quickly. So I was happy to be able to save one, and then another one on a bigger, I thought was a better plant, I couldn't save, and I basically had to cut it off. And it's really sad because it was a brand new growth with a new sheath that looked like it could have produced a flower. It was from my Heaven's Gate from Curlsmith, so I'm kind of disappointed. I didn't watch it closely enough, but I'm gonna do some research as to why this happens. Now I know sometimes it happens because water gets stuck in there, and it just gets trapped in the very new sheath, and without it coming out, then it just causes some kind of bacterial, fungus, rot, whatever you call it, and it turns black fairly quickly. So I'll turn this around and show you my Heaven's Gate and how that's going, and then we're gonna do a little surgery. So let's go. So this is Heaven's Gate here, and this is pretty much where she lives, on the lower tier of my little, what I call my little orchid bleachers. And this is an example of what it looked like. So this is what started to happen. It started to grow, this new growth. I'm showing you on a different plant, but just to show you, it came out like this, and then it grew all the way into, well, obviously something like this after that, and then it turned into a full-fledged leaf. Still looked new, but it had a sheath. Let me see if I can find an example. Kind of like this. You see that? So it looked green one day, and then the next day I started to see it was getting black, and getting black quickly. So usually when you have some kind of fungus or some kind of bacterial rot like that, what you want to do is remove the infected tissue quickly. Like, I'll give you another example. I had to do it here on these leaves. That's why it looks like a half a leaf. Then I cut it, and then I dried it up with cinnamon, and that kind of prevents everything from spreading if you catch it early enough. So that's what I did, and it was a shame because it was a beautiful, beautiful new growth on my Heaven's Gate, which is a beautiful, very velvety crimson color. And this plant is from Curlsmith. I bought it for $65 at a Tamiami show. And anyways, that's really, really sad when that happens. But of course, I want to save the overall plant first and foremost. So as you can see here, this is the spot. Oh my gosh, I'm actually on the floor with my white shorts, just because I want to show you guys. That's her tag, by the way. So it's an AMAOS. This is a really strong plant. This is one that every collector tries to get a hold of if you're here in the Miami area, the Florida area. All right, so let me tip it so I can show you. This is where it was growing out of, and it was big and it was beautiful. I'm lucky to see that there are new eyes already there. So hopefully this will soon start to grow. But I put some cinnamon, you can still see some cinnamon there, to kind of dry it up. Before I put cinnamon, I put Phaisan. So Phaisan and then cinnamon, and hopefully this plant will continue to grow. Now, unfortunately, it got a little bit of too much sun, and that developed on the leaf, but that has not continued to spread or grow, so I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to touch this leaf. And hopefully this doesn't happen again, but I am going to keep a better watch on it now in the future. Another thing that's happening here, this is one of my first pot ups from a bag baby, actually 2 bag babies, because there's 2 in there, 1 and 2. They are of the same thing, Momolani Jewel. Okay, and right in the beginning of when I started this channel, I basically did potting up with whatever I had on hand. This looks like the cheap bark, so I'm not surprised that this is happening. I already lost a leaf. That same thing happened. It got some spots and turned yellow. So I'm thinking I'm gonna have to take her out, at least save one of these. See, this one looks great, but this one looks like something is getting added, so I'm gonna have to take it out. It's been in here for 2 years, so I think I either over potted it, or yeah, over potting, too much media, too much water, too much something. So my plan is to try to save the plants that I can before it gets any worse. And my neighbor came out with his lawn mowing machine, what do you call that, edging thing. Oh my gosh, I hope he doesn't do it right now. But anyways, that's problem number 2 that I plan to attack really, really, really soon. The next thing is my raspberry chocolate. All right, so my raspberry chocolate just had 5 spikes, and it was pretty beautiful, except looking here, one of the bulbs turned really, really dark, and I went like this, a little twist motion like this, and really the whole thing came off. And now that I'm looking here, this is also looking bad, and the leaves fell off. So I am gonna try to repot, take her out of here and see what I can find, and we're gonna do that together. I have some supplies. So I have here my 2 kinds of shears that are disinfected, already ready to go. I have hydrogen peroxide. I don't know why I need that, but I have Phaisan on hand. I have pretty much everything. I have alcohol ready to go. My disinfected tray, so I always disinfect the trays between working on plants. You don't want to pass any pathogens accidentally from one plant to the other. If there's bacteria, if there's even a virus, anything, you can pass it from one to the next. So I use Phaisan. And if I know that there's been some black rot or something, I do a little heavier. Sometimes I'll throw some bleach on it, leave it on the sun. And then I have like 4 of these. So I switch them out according to whatever I need. So let's get to it. All right, guys, so I'm actually a little nervous about doing this. I am much more comfortable with phals and cattleyas and dendrobiums. But I'm gonna go ahead and try to start working. Now, I do recommend that you wear gloves. You never know what could be in the media. Yes, some of you are saying, but it's in bloom. Yeah, the blooms are coming out, so it's fine. It's okay. It's been blooming for a while, and I really want to get in there and see what's up. So I'm going to use one of these stakes to try to move the media around, start peeking. So on the top, I had some lava rock. I had charcoal. Okay. See, the flowers are already pretty spent and they are coming off. All right, this is pretty jammed in there. Oh, okay. Well, that didn't work. So I'm trying just to separate the root ball from the sides of the clay pot, and what I want to do is I want to wet it a little bit. So let me wet it and come right back. Okay, so I wet our little friend here, this Oncidium. I went to get a butter knife that we don't really use anymore. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go along the edge of the pot and separate the roots. Oh, they're so much easier. So definitely water makes it a lot easier. And sometimes people are afraid to repot and depot and go check what's inside there. But if you have a sign like this, a bulb that is getting mushy and turning brown, you need to do something before it spreads to the whole plant. That's my opinion. You can decide to do whatever you want. I know that inside I have some poor media from when I first started. Oh! There we go. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and take the hose and hose it off a little bit more, like in the grass, so I can really shake off whatever media is already. Look, some of this is already coming loose, but I'm gonna give it a good soak so I can see a little deeper into the root system. It has a lot of good roots, but I gotta find out why this bulb is turning black. So I'm gonna take it into the grass, where I can just go crazy with the water and see if I can break off or let loose some of this media and take a better look at the roots. Okay guys, so oh my goodness, it's so sunny, it's so hot. By the way, I didn't tell you guys, it is 90 degrees in Miami, Florida. It's very extremely hot and muggy, but it's okay. That's fine, because in a little while we jump in the pool, we refresh, and we'll be fine. So I think I got down to the nitty gritty, I guess. I put it under the water and I started to kind of what I call tickling the roots to let all the media come out, and kind of peeling off some dry parts to see if there was any rot. I don't see any rot, so I kind of had to do what I thought I should do. And sometimes, guys, you need to trust your gut and you need to do what you think. So what I had done here is I up potted. So I basically took her out of her plastic pot, I put her in here, and then I just put some lava rock all around it. I must have done that 2 years ago. And you know, I guess back then you think that's the best idea. Well, look at what's going on in the center. This is probably the reason why that bulb was getting mushy and basically almost disintegrating, because, and by the way, I just did a little bit of coercing and the whole thing came off. So this is what I plan to do now, which is kind of sad because this plant looks healthy otherwise, but I need to get into the root ball and try to take off as much as I can of this moss that's way in the middle. I mean, I could leave it alone, but if 2 bulbs already got rotted, then I either water a whole lot less, which rainy season is here, so that doesn't make sense. Or I can kind of split it down the middle, which is what I think I'm gonna do. Split it down the middle, take out all the moss, and repot it again with the healthy roots that it's got without all the moss in the middle. So that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm not gonna do it on camera, not just because it gives me anxiety, but because it takes a while. You got to take your time, okay? I'm gonna split it down the middle. This bulb already looks super squishy and lost the leaves, so I don't know if I'm gonna lose another bulb. So what I'm gonna do, split, take out the moss, and show you what we got. All right, so we have split her down the middle, and she has a whole lot of moss. And so it's very deceiving because I had lava rock, a lot of moss. I had a lot of lava rock around it to hold it steady. And so in my mind, 2 years later, I don't remember if I up potted or did it properly or whatever. So basically what had happened is I was watering her just like I do my other cattleyas and my other orchids that just have lava rock. So look, that's kind of, that tells me, okay, you know what, that's exactly what went down. That's what happened. It was starting to rot in the center because of all the moss that it had. So it feels kind of crazy to see all of this. I'll show you a close-up look. It's just complete rotting of the inside because of all the moss. So this is it's sad, but in a way you kind of want to get down to, you know, the core of the problem. You want to find out why it's happening, or just be prepared to possibly lose your plant. So this is really messy and really annoying. I might take a little stick to help me kind of coerce all the sphagnum moss out. This stick is too big. I'll find another one. Here's one. That's why I kind of save all these stakes, because you never know. So this is going to take me another good minute or so, and by minute I probably mean like 20 minutes, to try to coerce all of the moss out, or at least most of it, because this is holding in so much moisture. And yeah, you don't want that. You don't want an excessive amount, especially if you don't even realize what you're doing. It's basically my fault. I didn't even realize this had moss, and I didn't even realize that it was rotting down the middle. I don't know how long it's been rotting for. So I'm going to keep working at it, trying to clean this root ball as much as I can. I know gloves are probably the best way to go, but I didn't do that. You can feel free to be as protected as you should be. So do as I say, not as I do, and protect yourself. Wear gloves. You don't know if a little bug is going to come out of you and bite you, or maybe just something really disgusting. I haven't found anything. I'm looking carefully, but I have a long way to go. So much so that I feel like this pot might even be too big. Well, who knows? Who knows? Maybe if I do add a lot of lava rock, I can go ahead and do the same pot with a lot of lava rock, make it real heavy. So we'll come back for part 3. All right, guys, I think this is the last and final part of this section here. So I went ahead and I had to do some trimming in order to get all of the moss out, and I sprayed it, washed it, cleaned it, and then put some cinnamon. Any cinnamon is fine. I just use the regular one from the spice section. I put some cinnamon because I cut a lot of roots and I want it to be as good as it can be. I'm not gonna wash this anymore. I already sprayed it with Physan, and it looks okay because the problem was in the center. The center didn't touch any of the outside. So that's my mentality there. If I'm doing it wrong, you can go ahead and leave me a comment and tell me what you think. But remember, everybody has their own ways. Everybody has their own learning journey. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert this back into the same pot, and I am going to add lava rock around it to stabilize and to keep it as airy as possible. Hopefully this will fix the problem of that excessive moisture in the middle. I'm surprised she's lasted that long and bloomed so nicely, even though she had the center rotten. So basically I cut off everything that's in the middle. Everything that was in the middle is gone. And with that had to go a bunch of roots, which sadly enough, better to remove the bad stuff than to keep that, you know, on the healthy part of your plant. So that's it. That's all I'm going to do. She, I think, looks better already. And now I know for a fact, I'm going to write it on my tag too. This is what she is. But I'm going to write it on my tag. When I find my permanent marker, I'm going to go inside and get it. But I'm going to write when I did this repotting so that I know she's not going to need repotting for a really, really long time. She's going to be good to go. And yes, if this aborts the bloom and all the spikes fall and all that, it'll be fine because she's been in bloom for a long time and I didn't want her to stay with that rot in the center. So let me know what you think about this plant rescue, I guess you can call it. Plant rescue. I hope she does okay and she does better. Mind you, this is, you get really dirty when you're doing this. Your area gets really dirty, and between each plant, I do suggest that you sanitize and clean, you know, definitely all the tools, definitely whatever surfaces you worked on, Physan, Clorox, bleach, whatever you want to use, but you don't want to pass what any pathogen that's in one plant to the next plant. So hopefully with a lot of watering, which I'm going to be doing, these bulbs fill up again and look healthy again. Now I see another thing that I cut. Okay, want to make sure whatever you cut, I put some cinnamon. Some people say that that's a really old thing, it doesn't really work. But I also treat for fungicide and I also treat other ways. I'm not, you know, everything is natural kind of person. I'm whatever the plant needs kind of person. So when I cut, yeah, I do, it does make me feel better to use the cinnamon. So that's it for this AKA baby raspberry chocolate oncidium. And we have something else to do. This is kind of exciting. Hold on. She's so pretty.
Wait, is that from Flamingo?
No, I think it's in egret. It's pretty big. It's 4 feet tall because that's as big as a fence.
What is that?
It's not a flamingo, I said. It's an egret. Florida egret or egret. Alright, so we're gonna get a better view. This is in our backyard and look how pretty these so pretty royal poncianas. Let's see. Oh, it's gone. All right, guys, so as you can see behind me, it started pouring. So my clay making dreams have been moved into the house. Oh my gosh. I think I'm totally in over my head. But if anything, I will get one little cute pot out of this $20 block of clay that I got on Amazon. Let's see how it goes. Okay, so this is the clay that I'm using. It's self-drying clay, and as we speak, it's already almost drying. Here's my assistant. Hi, assistant.
Hi.
What are you gonna make?
I'm gonna make.
You don't have to make a pot. You can make whatever. Did you do something with the pillows on the couch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm laying down.
You rearranged them. Okay, so I have this, and I'm gonna attempt to continue to flatten it out and make a shape of a pot. And then I'm gonna have to find something to make the holes. So stay tuned. I gotta make the thing. Gotta make holes.
That's so good. Honey, shit. What are you doing?
Making holes.
For what? Oh, you're going to like a pattern?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this one you good.
Yeah.
But I thought you start being a professional. I thought you're a professional.
I don't think this is gonna work.
Well, it seems easy to me. I need the roller for a second. Practice it one using the roller. First time. Next time. Okay, let's go like this. Wait. Yes, get me smaller.
Okay. No, I'm not bringing out to serve you any lunch. My first pottery. Orchid pottery. Will I ever do this again? No. No. Oh my gosh. It's totally worth it to buy one of these already made. This was, I can't even describe it. I made a cone, and we still gotta see if they come out. We still gotta see if they come out. So I'm gonna leave them out here to dry like I'm supposed to. I'm gonna wash. I have a horrible mess going on inside the house. It's in my hair, it's everywhere, and final verdict, I'm never gonna try this again.